Hey there, my name is Dennis and welcome to Wedding Trailer Pro. In the last video, we talked about the importance of having a list of possible shots and questions so that you can create mini stories. In this video, you will learn how to create a project template, and we're going to discuss why it's so important to have one. And also, I will show you a powerful technique that I use all the time to really quickly find the potential shots that can work well with a project. Now, I want to begin by saying that there are three main reasons why you want to have a project template. 1. Time efficiency. As you probably know, time is key when it comes to video editing. As a video editor, you need to develop a method of doing things, and having a good project template will be a good guide all throughout your editing stages. It will make your editing time more efficient. 2. For organizational purposes. It doesn't matter if you're the best editor in town. If you're editing professionally, meaning somebody else is paying you to edit, you will get requested for changes here and there. Having a project template with an organized timeline will get you through your editing changes a lot quicker, and most importantly, less annoyingly. 3. Get to know your footage. This is more for those who shoot and edit. There's a misconception. People tend to believe you get better the more you shoot. That is not the case in my opinion. You definitely gain more experience and more confidence being in that environment. But to get better, you need to do an extra step, and that is to analyze your work. So what do I mean by that? When I ask people, do you watch your footage after every shoot? The answer is always yes. But when we get down to details, it comes down to yes, I do watch my footage, but only the parts that I really like or that are really important to me. But what about the other 90% of the footage? Have a project template. This will help you to break down your footage and see right away what works and what doesn't, and most importantly, what needs to be improved. Okay, enough of the theories, let's learn how to create a project template. I want you to think of the project template as a toolbox. My project template consists of 5 folders. In Premiere, we call them bins, and bins that are inside of other bins are called sub-bins. So I have 5 bins: footage, audio, graphics, sequences, and nested sequences. Now inside my footage bin, I have 6 sub-bins: A cam, which is your main camera, B cam, which is your second angle, C cam, which is your third angle, and D cam in case you have a fourth angle or a different cinematographer on that day. Drone, this is where I store all my drone footage. Project base, this is where I store anything unique that has to do with the project. In my audio bin, I have 6 sub-bins. Songs. This is where I store all the potential songs or songs that the client requested. Cinematic music. This is where I store all my instrumental music. Narration. This is where I store all my readings, vows, and speeches, basically anything that involves a verbal message. Sound effects. This is where I store all my sound effects and Foolies, and of course project base. Anything unique to the project that has to do with audio, this is where it will be stored. Now, before we move to the next bin, remember some of these bins are empty and it will require you to store all the assets needed for the project. But some, like the sound effect, I have already stored some sound effects in there, and there are just a few to get me through the project. And same thing with Foolies. I just have some stored here so I don't have to get out of the software and spend extra time to look for one if I need it. Remember, the whole idea of the project template is to make your editing time more efficient. In my graphics bin, I have 5 sub-bins: adjustment layer, logo, titles, visual effects, and project based. All these pretty much speak for themselves. In my sequence bin, I have a bunch of different sequences. We will get to this in a little bit, but for now, let's move on. In my nested sequences, I have 2 sub-bins: picture and audio, and this is where I store all my nested sequences. Okay, now let's talk about sequences. I prefer to have a designated sequences across my timeline. I want you to think of the sequences as the tabs on your computer. If you're like me, you have a bunch of different tabs open at once, especially if you're working on something or you're doing some type of a research. So I have created 20 different sequences. Select. This is basically where I store all my good shots. Bride getting ready. This is where I store all the bride getting ready footage. Groom getting ready footage. First look. This is where I store the first look, if any. Creative. This is where I store all the creative shots, also known as money shots. Bridal party. All the bridal party footage, this is where it gets collected. Family's photo session. All the family's photo session shots will be stored in here. Ceremony, cocktail hour, reception, formalities, speeches, SOS. This is basically where I store anything that stands out to me. And this is something that I do on a personal level, not that it's really important. Drone. All the drone footage goes here. Teaser version 1 and teaser with a different format, trailer version 1 and a trailer with a different format, short film and full edit. Now, once I have cut all my selects into my timeline, depending on what I'm working on, I will open the designated sequence to start working on the project and close the ones that I don't really need. For example, if I don't have any footage for the first look, I can just simply close it. Now, imagine if I was working on a trailer. So I'll double click on the trailer sequence and it will open right here. As you can see, I also adjusted the trailer sequence and placed some of the chords and adjustment layer so that I don't have to do it later. Basically, you try to minimize your steps within your project template as much as possible. I also separate the narration from the music and sound effects so that it's easy for me to control them and adjust the volume when I need to. Now, if I open my full edit sequence, the concept is the same. It just looks different. It's because there are more adjustment layers added here so that I can separate the chapters that I'm editing. So having a breakdown of chapters helps me see what I need to do next and makes the editing time a lot faster. Now, some people prefer to have a breakdown in their project panel, which is right here, instead of having a designated sequences. This process involves a bunch of different clicks going to bins and then sub-bins to find the potential shot, and is a lot less visual. Not that it's wrong, I'm just more of a visual guy. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what your method is. What does matter though is that you have one so that you can make your editing time more efficient. Now let me show you a project that I'm currently working on so that you can have a visual understanding of what I'm talking about. As you can see, here I have all my selected shots and the audio is already synced. Once I'm done with my selections, the next step is to copy paste all the appropriate shots to the designated sequences, which is already done. Now at this stage, the technical aspect of the project is done, going through the select, syncing audio, and resizing the composition if needed. Now I can freely transition to the creative aspect, which is basically the editing. Since everything is organized, the process is a lot more enjoyable and faster. Now I'm currently developing a teaser for this wedding, and let me show you why I do prefer to have a sequences across my timeline rather than having a breakdown in my project panel. But first, let me play the teaser so that you can have an idea what we're working with. Keep in mind, this is a very rough cut.
Danny, Marie, we're here to celebrate the beautiful, precious gift of love. Beautiful flowers in the church. How did they get to be so beautiful? Someone helped them to grow. You have to help each other grow. You have to be best friends to each other. In that best friendship, your love will continue to grow. Love conquers everything.
You're gonna have to take a lot of shit and just shut up.
Okay, story-wise, the message is there. The music is there. Do we need to make some adjustments? Of course. But the biggest problem we have at this moment is to find the visuals that will support the narrative. So what is the best way to do that? Something that I do is to bring my sequence down here and create something that is called pancake editing. This process helps you really fast to determine whether a particular shot works or not.
Of love. Love.
This process helps you to determine whether a particular shot works or not, and it helps you to jump between sequences and find the potential shot that can work well with the project. Another tip that I can share is that once you choose your shot, make sure you bring it up so that you know in that sequence you already used that shot. Remember, it's really important to have a process of doing things, and having good project template will help you to be more organized with your projects, and it will make your editing time more efficient. Learn good habits from the very start. Now, the beauty of the project template is once you create it and save it, you will be done and you will never have to do it again. In the next video, we're going to talk about teasers. Most upcoming video editors undervalue the significance of promotional videos, or they just simply don't know how to make them effective. But more on this topic later on in the next video. Till then, subscribe, like, and comment. My name is Dennis, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.